I am like, I'm an Olympian with chasing shiny objects. And I can still chase shiny objects because I like it, right?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
here's the big but, right? But I have to have the discipline of getting the most important thing done every day. And when I do that, then I have the freedom to do whatever shiny object I want all afternoon. It doesn't matter. It's fine. So I don't need to change who I am.
No, no. And I agree with that 100%. We never want you. That's why I lead with DISC understanding, for those of you who are familiar with the DISC, right? DISC. And so, Julie, when you say you have a tendency to chase, you got that shiny object chasing squirrels kind of thing going on, that means you are the life of the party, and you are, and one of the most fun people to be around in the world, and you are. And so because of that, a lot of realtors have that same personality type, and they kind of struggle with the idea and the understanding for the need of focus, right? And that's okay. That's okay, because there's an opportunity for team building eventually as you scale your business. Those things that are not natural for you, I believe, Julie, that eventually you should give those away.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Ideally, as you grow in business, and that's leverage 101 in real estate. It's like leverage out the things that you don't love or you're not great at, or just not your greatest skill set. One of the first things I've leveraged out in my business is bookkeeping and accounting, and the next thing is contract to close.
Yep. That's exactly right. I am not the numbers person. I don't care to be. And that's what my wife does in our business. And I'm really not even the super fun light person, because I'm the detail person, right? So I love to have people around me who are party starters, like you, Julie. Like, I just want people that want to come in and go, woohoo, let's get it started, because I'm the one that's going to walk in and go, hey, can we get some work done here? Right? And so I believe that as we scale, we find our soft areas and we give those away. We find our vulnerable spots and we give those away to other people. That right there, to me, Julie, is the reason why we scale in the first place. The freedom to not have to do things that we don't enjoy doing every day.
Well, that increases the happiness factor as you go too.
Yeah.
So like business and your overall experience and enjoyment of it just gets better and better, because as you build and grow, it's like you're earning the opportunity to create more and more leverage in your world, and leverage is a beautiful thing. So what do you think? So I know we're kind of talking a little bit about some of the challenges. What do you think are some of the greatest challenges for the newer agents versus the not new agents?
So first things first, I am a certified mentor. I think you are too as well, right, Julie?
Yes.
And so I'm grateful for EXP and the vision at our organization here. I believe that with newer agents, from idea to execution can be kind of tough. I think I want to do something. I'm not quite sure what it is that I want to do. And then when I get clear on what it is that I want to do, how am I supposed to do it? And then when I do it, could there be somebody that's standing close to me to tell me either you did a great job with that, or here's how you could actually adjust that? I think that's the greatest challenge. And because they don't have that clarity, Julie, I think that a lot of people are polarized and they just don't move because they can't be clear that the movement that they're making is actually perfect or correct. Do me a favor, guys, throw me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Has there ever been anything that you're like, I would love to do it, but because I don't know that I'm doing it perfectly, I don't know if I want to do it because I'm really concerned about how I look and I want to make sure I'm looking just right? I think that's the new agent's biggest challenge.
It's interesting, and I think that challenge follow people through their entire career, because it's part of
Yeah.
it is, oh gosh, well, you put your finger on quite a few things there. Part of it is the perfection versus progress conversation. Um,
Hmm.
and that, you know, some people, man, some people, the perfection thing really holds them back. Here's an analogy I like to use, and this can apply to a newer agent, but this can apply to a 20-year agent too. It's like, let's say you have compare two agents, and one of them has like an impressive corporate background, like a really impressive resume. They know a lot of people. They're not afraid to talk to people. They seem to have what it takes to really do real estate. And then you have this other agent, doesn't have the resume, maybe doesn't have the college degree, isn't quite sure what they have in the database, but they're not afraid and they're not a perfectionist. So let's say agent number one with the awesome resume is a total perfectionist. And agent number two, who's a little scrappy, maybe just getting started, doesn't quite have the resume, they're kind of fearless.
Hmm.
Who do you think is going to line up a few viable clients faster?
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this is kind of that perfection over progress. So what I like to say, I think one of the challenges for newer agents, and but I bet there are experienced agents in the room who are going to grasp this, is the challenge to line up your first few clients absolutely as quickly as possible.
Hmm. Agreed.
And what I would say for a not new agent is, especially an agent who's trying to push through to the next level or is experiencing any kind of stagnation in in their pipeline, in their lead pipeline, it's the same concept. It's like, wow, okay, stop everything I'm doing. And what is absolutely hands down my fastest route to a few solid leads? What can I do right now today?
Yes. That's a big one, Julie. What can I do right now today? What can I do right now today to impact my tomorrow? And that has a tendency to sway you away from the eventual, the anxiety that I need to plan in order to plan to do something.
Right. Well, and do you think that thing is redesigning your business card?
Well, listen, I love a good business card, just like anybody else, right? I mean, I could do that thing 4 or 5 or 6 different times. That's that high C personality type in me. I love the detail and the design and all of that. Um, and you're absolutely right. That thing is not designing a business card. I think that probably what I need to do is pick up the phone and call some people.
Right. So lead gen. I mean, come on, guys. You put two coaches on the stage, and you know we're going to talk about lead gen, right?
That's
Come
right.
on. Hopefully, the audience is laughing at
we're,
this point.
we're gonna here's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it, instead of lead gen, how about, I like to call it, collecting people and managing relationships, right? Because something about those two words together, lead generation, that completely create total anxiety and freak people completely out. But if we think about the fact that, look, we collect people for a living, and as a result of collecting a whole lot of people, we have the unique opportunity to sell a lot of houses. So we collect people, and then once we have a lot of people collected, we're responsible for managing those relationships, right?
Yeah. 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 So give it a new label. How about that label is put money in my bank account?
I like that one too. Yeah. Open up my register. How about that?
Open up my register. Yeah, just take that lead gen, that two-word lead gen thing. It's like, oh, lead gen, lead gen, lead gen. It's like, okay, how about, yeah, open the register? How
Yeah.
about, because come on, cash solves so many things.
Yes, it does.
It just does. So it's like, I love to teach, it's kind of like, let's stop naming lead generation classes lead gen and just name them how to put money in your bank.
Yeah. How do I get the best health insurance available? How do I take care of my mom when she gets sick and starts ailing from dementia? How do I put my kids in the best school district? How do I keep my spouse happy? All of these things are hashtag lead generation, but we don't have to call it that if it's going to freak you out, right?
I like it. I like it. So each person's label. So when we say money in the bank, what is the one thing in your life that really is meaningful to you with money in the bank? And Sherry just rattled off a bunch of them. I love it. It might be the college fund for the kids. It might be helping a family member. It might be um, funding your vacation account. It might be
Mm-hmm.
something material, okay? And that's fine. It's like it might be that one car that, by gum, you are going to buy that car by the end of the year. And
You
that's
just
your,
bought a new car. Did you just buy a new car?
I did. I did.
I
It's,
saw it on the Facebook.
oh,
I'm
it's
like,
so
I'm like,
sweet.
oh my God, that is sexy.
It
Hashtag
is
lead generation.
hashtag sexy. I have never, yeah, it's hot. My car is hot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so it's like, so when I'm doing lead gen, so when you're doing lead gen, what is it funding? Because that's what we're doing. You are creating a commission check that's going to be a deposit into your bank account. And what is that going to do for your life? What's that going to do for your family? What's that going to do for your confidence? What's that going to do for the car you drive, the vacation that you take, the debt that you pay off, the medical bills that you help with your family, on and on and on. Yeah, Juan, do you drive a Beamer as well, my friend? I'm so pleased
Yeah.
with my car. I can hardly stand it. You do? Awesome.
The relationship is new. You're still in the honeymoon stage. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an amazing car and it's super sexy, but I know how it is when it's new. It's like, oh, I just love you every time you get in it? Does it still smell new?
It does a little bit, and I keep cleaning it every day. So it's a honeymoon.
Right.
Okay, okay. Enough about Julie's new car. Okay, um, so lead generation, lead generation, lead generation. It's like, guys, stop overcomplicating your business and your life. And if you can get the most important thing done every day, this is Julie's main, stump speech on building your bank account, hashtag lead generation, hashtag BMW, is every day, if I can ask myself, hey, Julie, what's your fastest route today to a lead, client, contractor paycheck? Do that thing first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what anchors me. That's what anchors my squirrel tendencies. That's what anchors that's what quiets my shiny object syndrome for a little bit every day, is that one. I literally, and I'm touching it right now. I literally have a post-it note on my screen on my desk that's what it says. Because this is me coaching me
Yeah.
every day to build my business and my life
Yeah.
and quiet the squirrel farm.
Yeah.
What is my
I
fastest
also,
route today? The sticky note says this: Julie, what is my fastest route today to a lead, client, contractor paycheck? Do that thing first.
I love it, Julie. I love it.
The
I also tell my clients and my friends that it's okay to um, just go right back to the good old fashioned, what is your big why? Why? Because that's really what we're talking about here. What is your big why? Why are you doing this? And if it is connected to another human being, permission to tell them what you've promised and what you're going to do in order to expedite their happiness, in order to
mm,
take them to the next level. Like, tell your people what your promise is. And I promise you that automatically heats up your accountability. It helps you get out of that rut of, I really don't know what I should be doing, or I'm scared to get started, when your spouse, your partner, your kids are coming to you saying, so when are we going to Mexico? You know, when are we going to
Mhm.
Florida? Involve your people.
Yeah.
And that helps to make it. Has anyone here ever done that? Involve your people. That helps to make it real and more relevant. Takes
Yeah.
the
So I'm
scare out of it.
curious. Yeah. So who in the room has children, particularly of the dependent or semi-dependent age? And if you do, type their ages in. I want to see who has kids in the room. Yeah. Okay. So there's some.
Yeah.
There they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And some of you
Yep.
have some grown-up ones. Sherry, you have the grown-up kind.
I have the real grown-ups. Yeah.
Uh, hopefully, hopefully they're the real grown-up kind, right? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Juan, you're an empty nester.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Me
And
too, Whine. It rocks, doesn't it?
here's why I bring up the child topic is those little people can be the best accountability partners in the world, and they will be relentless. Because if you assign a couple of your business goals, assign them to something that's going to impact them. Something as simple can be, when I make these 20 phone calls, we're going out for pizza, right? So
Perfect.
that's the real short term one, right? The bigger one is, when I hit this financial goal, then we're going to Disney World, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you involve those little people, or the
Yeah.
not so little people, in those
Yeah.
goals,
Mm-hmm.
they're ruthless. They will remind you of it every day. They will check with you. Hey, how'd you do today, mommy?
Yeah.
I didn't do my homework.
Yeah. My adult children keep a spreadsheet because it's like, look, mom pays for the once a year holiday. And in order for mom to pay for the once a year holiday, she's got to hit this goal and that goal. So, these ruthless adult people keep a spreadsheet like, how's it coming, mom? You know?
Wow. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that's a family plan, but they know what's attached to it, and they ask you
Oh,
about it.
yeah, 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 yeah. I think too that before we get away from the topic, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more as we go forward, because it's such a baseline about of what we do in our industry, the whole collecting people and maintaining our relationships. I think before we leave this, I have to make sure to remind our people here, Julie, that there's so many different ways to execute lead generation. There is no one way to do this that you have to learn and know and master. There's a, a lead generation wheel for execution that offers so many options. Find the thing that you are most comfortable with, and that is the thing that you won't sway away from too often. Do you agree with that, Julie?
Yeah, I really do. It's kind of like, yeah, what do you like best?
Yeah. Yeah. If
What
you're
do
not
you
a FISBO person, don't, like, I mean, definitely give everything a try. Give everything a try, right? But if you, after you do it, and you've done it enough times to, figure out, like, maybe even to have had success in it. You've executed it from beginning to end, and you still think, and I don't care that much for that process. If you get to that place and you figure out that's not your thing, find the thing that is. Maybe it's not FISBOs, maybe it's expired. If it's not expired, maybe you're just going to become a master of working your database. If it's not your database, maybe you're going to just build an amazing affiliate list where you're going to work business to business with people who are going to send you the majority of your referrals. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on of options that you can do, but find your thing, right?
And yes, it's kind of it's like, have permission to be yourself.
Yes.
Have permission to be authentic. Um, I've I love kind of studying or observing especially, well, observing top agents, but especially, I love observing kind of the rookie of the year stories out there in our industry. So I'm always, if there's an article that passes my inbox that's related to, kind of the newcomer of the year award type of thing, the rookie of the year awards, I always take a look at that. And here's one of my main observations with it over the years is that the agents who like absolutely knock it out of the park in their first year or two in the business, more times than not, they actually had a very narrow focus. There was just one thing that they did really well in the business. This is related to that. It's kind of it's like, look, no one said you have to make cold calls. I've never done that in my life. I hate it. I
And
wouldn't.
that's so funny because that's all we do in my, like, I have 150 people in my line, in my collaboration, and we have an ISA center, and from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock 3 nights a week we make calls around communities where we're
Wow.
dialing around in this aggressive market, asking people if they'd like to take advantage of the market and telling people we need inventory. So
Nice.
we are two amazing examples up here where you're like, look, no, I don't do cold calls. And I'm like, give me the phone. I can't wait to do it. Right.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Yeah, so it's like, no, find your thing. But you were making the point of being open to kind
Right.
of learning and observing. It's like, well, wait a minute, these people seem to, they are killing it over here. Maybe I can give this a shot a little bit. Maybe I can learn it. Maybe if I lean into the discomfort, lean into the learning curve, lean into the elusive confidence with that thing, maybe within a few weeks I might actually be good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you'll never learn if you don't give it a try.
So true. That's so true. So, hey, let's shift here just a little bit, and remember, those of you in the audience, we're totally open. We're open to your questions, so type away. But we wanted to talk a little bit about the crazy 2021 market. Type into the chat. I want to know if your market is low inventory, multiple offers, that kind of dynamic right now. Type in your city and state. Let's see what the list looks like, because my friends, it's a long list right now. Yeah, Colorado, Houston, Chicago, New York, Seguin. Hey, Roxanne, Gainesville. Yeah, Austin, Texas is that way.
Yeah.
You guys have that going on in Detroit, Sherry?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
told you that we're on the phones. We're on the phones. We are executing strategy, and we are matchmaking. We're matchmakers today. And we are calling around communities and saying, listen, we've got well qualified buyers who would love to live in your community. We are making matches. We were wondering if you might happen to know of someone in the community that might be thinking about making a move, because we need inventory, and my guys are like, they are stacking up listing appointments that way because
Wow.
we have a inventory issue as well. We had to get out of that box and think differently.
That's great. So you guys hear, see, Sherry has just in the last couple minutes, she said that script twice, just very naturally and easily. And you hear that, and it's like, oh, well, that actually seems, that's kind of an easy question to ask. It's kind of an easy conversation to have.
Uh-huh. 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 So it's just a it's a so yes, inventory is low everywhere. And because we both have national clients, we have clients everywhere. We know that the answer is that inventory is low everywhere. And the answer is, if you can tolerate having a conversation with people who don't know you, it is an amazing opportunity to invite people into the conversation of liquidating their property while the market is so aggressive. It is a really easy conversation, and people are actually interested. How many of you all think I would love to learn that script like that so I could make that call? Throw me a thumbs up if you're like, I think if I had the script, I would love to make a call like that. You know, it is really, again, like we talked about in the beginning, it's about having the confidence in knowing that you know what to say. But yes, inventory is the issue, big time.
Hey, Terry, I have an idea.
What's up?
Um, Throw a quick, 2-minute video into the Pride Network workplace
You got it.
page
Yep.
that is just you talking through that script, because
You got it.
we could be using that all over the country right
Yes.
now.
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, the numbers from a dialing perspective look like for every 100 dials you make, you might make 10 contacts. And then for every 10 contacts that you make, you might have one person that reaches back and says, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, or my cousin or my niece or my sister or someone that I go to church with, there's something that comes back to you. So we're sitting and making 400 or 500 calls in an evening. I mean, so it is amazing. It's very rare that we don't walk out with 2 or 3 listing appointments. We're
Yeah.
talking about creating opportunity, right? Because the inventory is so low. And then when you're writing, what are you guys finding out there right now? What type of offers are you having to write right now? Tell me a little bit about the clauses that you're having to use right now, because in Detroit, we are finding that it is in the Detroit and Detroit surrounding area, we are using escalation clauses. We are using appraisal guarantees. I mean, it is highest and best. We're going to give you our firstborn. I mean, it is like as aggressive as it could possibly get. It is crazy bananas out there. Are you all finding the same thing? Shoot us a thumbs up.
But a lot of them are. We are
Yeah.
definitely in Austin as well. Did you know in Texas you cannot do escalation clauses? It's
Ah,
it's actually illegal in
how about
Texas,
that?
but we
Okay.
can do all those other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you have to get creative. And this is where, and I'll give a little pitch. This is where I really encourage you guys. I I am a huge workplace fan. I think it is a massive gold mine of value and information. Your involvement on workplace with your local group, like I have an Austin group, I have a Central Texas group, and I have a Texas group, right? But my ability to participate or even just read through the threads in there and see what other agents are doing with their offers or what they're hearing in different neighborhoods, or because in these markets that we're in, shifting, it shifts a lot. So what was working a few weeks ago may be different from what we're seeing a few weeks in the
Constant
future.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that workplace group, it's like, guys, that helps you tap into, it's like, wow, what are the best practices right now? Because they're
Yeah.
different than they were in April and May, you
That's
know?
right. How
Yeah.
about they're different than they were 3 weeks ago? And
Yeah.
then, Julie, I've told people this has been one of the most interesting last couple of years of coaching in my whole 20 plus career, because 20-year plus career, because coaching through a pandemic, right? And keeping everyone not just motivated and inspired, but I coach a lot of mega agents and mega teams and things, and so making sure that we're constantly adjusting into what is relevant today.
Yes. And how do you do that? I mean, you have to be aware of what's
You better be
relevant
plugged
today.
in. That's why that workplace is, like you said, is such a great tool. You better be 100%. You better be plugged in. You better
Better
be
be
plugged in.
plugged in. Yeah. Yeah. It's huge. And that's part of, I like to say, build your village. Build your village. And that's one of your, if you will, that's one of your sub villages in real estate is um is your local or somewhat local or at least statewide realtor network that's part of your village, because y'all need each other. We all need each other.
Yeah, big time right now, especially. But I
Yeah.
think that as we talk about winning or whining,
Yeah.
I have some clients right now who are having, they couldn't, like, certain people couldn't even be here for this today because they're so busy right now, and I'm grateful that you all were able to carve out a little bit of time. But some people are winning to the extent and the extreme that they are like, I'm waiting for things to slow down a little bit. Some people are you finding that, Julie? Like, some people are
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, they are winning. Okay. And then some people just can't get their mind away from how difficult and different things are right now. What do you find? Do you find that as well?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. And of course I love the win or whine, your choice. So look at this market and take a little inventory on your mindset. How are you perceiving the market? It's like, yeah, it's hard. I mean, we can all agree with that. But some agents, a lot of agents are actually having their best year ever.
Yep.
So some agents are killing it in this market. It's like, oh, okay. So if you're not in that mindset, maybe hang around with some agents who are.
Yeah. And the best question that I think you have to, kind of like Julie, you said you got your sticky note that's sitting on your computer that says what's the next best thing that I could do in order to hit my goal, right? The question that you also have to ask yourself on a daily basis and sometimes an hourly basis is, how do I need to adjust my thinking today in order to have everything that I said I want tomorrow? How do I need to adjust my thinking today in order to have access to everything that I said that I want tomorrow? Because it's all going to start in the way that I'm thinking. How many of you guys need an adjustment in your mindset? Because that is huge. I have to make one every other day. You know, how many of you all are like, I might need to make a little mindset adjustment? And if that's the case, then what do you do to do that? What do you do, Julie, to do your mindset adjustments when you need to?
Now that's I love that question. It's like, well, and when you said that, I'm like, gosh, maybe I should ask myself that question every day. You got me thinking. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. But yeah, sometimes we are our best advocate and sometimes not.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of why I really like your question, because your question draws our attention to, oh, wait a minute, am I being my own best advocate today? And here's the deal. It's like, I may not be my own best advocate for 10 hours today, but I bet I can be for
Mm-hmm.
two
Mm-hmm.
hours.
That's right.
Well, and think of
So,
when you had a job, when you used to have a job, and you were an employee and you drove to an office every day and you had your desk in the office, it was very clear what you needed to do to get things done that each and every day, right? Because you were really aware. It's like, no, I need to be a good employee. I need to get a good review. I have to get good numbers. I need job stability. And so we would just do those things and hopefully create those mindset shifts, little
yeah,
course corrections
yeah.
to be in that mode. But now that we're self-employed, we don't necessarily hold ourselves to those same standards.
You know what the big difference is, though, between those scenarios, right? You know that when you're going and you're clocking in, you know, for someone else, uh, there's somebody there that you have to adjust for, right? There's always somebody who's going to be standing there on top of you going, you okay? Didn't you used to love that question? Didn't you used to love that question when you had a job? Like, you were just not feeling it for the day. You weren't in the mood, and there was somebody standing right there on top of you, breathing on you, asking you, you okay? Is everything okay with you today? You know? And so you knew that you had to adjust just to make sure that you were presenting in the way, because if not, somebody was going to hold you accountable, right?
It's so true. Someone was going to call you on it. And you didn't want necessarily, well, maybe you like the sympathy card for just a minute, but then it's like, oh man, I gotta snap too. And you would,
Right.
and you would snap too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So who's your person? Who's your are you okay person? Who's your person that you're like, I gotta snap too. I gotta get it together, because if I don't, I know this person is gonna be like, what is up with you today? Right? Who's your person, Julie?
Yeah, who's your person? That is so true. So, hey, one topic that we wanted to just touch on at least, and I think one of the reasons for this, I think, is this is a real specialty of yours. But can we talk for just a minute about when someone is looking at shifting from solo to team or team to solo? Kind of
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about like your work with teams.
Okay. Yeah. So probably about 80% of my coaching is to support teams, people who have decided that there is an opportunity to scale their business, to go from being in an independent model, and they're going to add a assistant, a transaction manager, a showing assistant, a buyer's agent, a listing associate. So I support a good number of people who are building and scaling businesses like that. And so what I'll say is, when you make a decision that, and this is the really short cliff note version of this, right, Julie? Because there's no quick answer for this, right? But when you make the decision that you are ready to scale your business, number one, you need to make sure that you are ready for that level of leadership. If you are going to be the person in charge, are you ready to be responsible for the greatness and success of other people? So that's the first question, because you are accountable for people when you add them to your team. And then you have to ask yourself, what's my next best addition? So what is the thing that I'm most excited to give away? And who, because it used to be, remember in that other place that we used to work, Julie, there was a very specific way that you should team build, and you should add this person first, and then you should add this person, and then you should do this, and then you should do that. Remember that?
Yes.
Um, but what we've learned over the years is that, listen, everybody scales differently. So what's beautiful about the scaling opportunity is some people scale right to a showing assistant, because they're like, look, I don't need a in-house transaction manager, because I send all of my transactions out, or I, I do it myself. I love doing transactions. Some people scale, to a listing agent, because they're like, look, I need more like a partner. So I'm going to have somebody who's really strong in those presentations. But you have to find out what's going to be best for you to add first. Find out what you want to give away first, and then make sure you're ready to work on those leadership muscles, so that you can take care of the people that you're going to be responsible for. And in reverse of that, Julie, if you are thinking that you want to be on someone's team, you have to be ready to be a team player, because that's a very specific position to play. Is to be a part of someone else's vision. Their vision has to be big enough to hold you, and you have to be a team player in that way. Does that make a little sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think there there are a fair number of new agents that start on a team in the business.
Yeah.
And and they need to recognize kind of what they're getting themselves into. It can be a great way to start, but then a lot of them really kind of want to go solo. So sometimes it's the opposite transition. They started
Yeah.
with the team, and now really truly they're ready to go solo, which is what they wanted to do all along.
Yep.
um, but they just chose another route just to get started in the industry, and that's very common as well for buyers agents.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. And I always give people permission to change. you know. You can change your mind whenever you want to, and it's not just a woman thing either. I mean, like you get to change your mind if you make the decision that this is not the fit for me, or I've evolved into something else, I've grown into the next best version of myself, and I'm ready to scale into a different level of independence. That is available for you. And like we just talked about, you have to be ready to exercise some muscle that's going to teach you and hold you responsible for fishing. Because Julie, a lot of reason why a lot of people start with a team as opposed to being independent is because they don't want the responsibility of fishing. They want someone to give them fish. They will then take the fish to the kitchen, cook it up, serve it. They'll do what needs to be done with the fish, but they don't want to have to catch it, right? So in a lot of team models, in a lot of traditional team models, the team leader is giving the fish, handing it to the people that are on the team, and they just have to go out and prepare it and serve it up. When you decide to go solo, you are responsible for finding fish, for finding the best places to locate the fish, collecting the fish, hashtag lead generation.
Yeah,
You know?
baiting the hook,
Yeah,
all of it. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's so true, and everyone has to learn that. Yeah. So, hey, let's shift this a little bit because we are getting close to the top of the hour. I
Okay.
wanted to ask you. So, you had a great feature article in EXP Life last week, which was great. If y'all, I love those EXP Life articles.
Great. Yeah.
And did y'all know so that for the whole month of June, all the EXP Life feature articles, and one comes out one a week, but they are all highlighting EXP Pride Network agents. So I'm really excited about that. But Sherry, so why'd you choose EXP?
So I think that first, let me give you a little backstory. You know this, Julie, but let me tell you, I own a coaching, consulting, and training organization which stands alone and trains across brands, right? So my license was in holding, and I was just doing my coaching, consulting, and training thing, and the opportunity to build, team build, and to have the equivalent of a brokerage without the responsibility tacked onto it, of
Yeah.
owning a brokerage without the liability tacked onto it, and the real opportunity for an exit strategy in our industry, which doesn't exist anywhere else, was super sexy to me. You know,
Yeah.
so that was it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty straightforward. So yeah, it's really cool. Hey, I want to talk about you are um, you're doing work. Actually, you're the president of the Real Pride Network.
Yes, yes, I
Um,
am. Yes, I am.
tell us a little bit about the Real Pride Network. What is that?
So the Real Pride Network is a member-driven public charity, right? And it's made up of primarily real estate industry and our affiliates. We provide LGBT support and a place for the LGBTQ2 plus realtors for networking, education, referral exchange, and advocacy. And I'm so grateful. We're celebrating our 1 year anniversary, and I am so proud to represent this organization. We've recently partnered with Cyndi Lauper's True Colors United, and True Colors, if you don't know, is addressing the real problem of young people experiencing homelessness in the LGBTQ2 plus community. Um, just in case you don't know this, in the United States, 4.2 million youth experience homelessness every year. That's bananas. Did you know that?
I did
And
not know that.
with lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning youth, they are 120% more likely to experience homelessness than their non-LGBTQ peers. So we all know housing is a human right, right? So True Colors is committed to changing that, and through our partnership, we're committed to helping them and supporting them in that. That's the important work that we're doing. I'm so grateful and excited for it.
That's really cool. And where can people find the Real Pride Network?
So if you go to realpride.org, that network, and you will then have an opportunity to learn all about the organization. And just through the month of June, through Pride Month, we are contributing 50% of all sponsorships and memberships to True Colors. So if you're looking for that opportunity to do something and to make a difference, we'd love for you to take advantage of that.
Cool. That's so great. And it's one more opportunity. I mean, it's a big network of LGBTQ plus realtors and actually there's even, aren't there like mortgage professionals? There's other, it's not just
Yeah.
realtors. Yeah,
No,
but
it's not just real estate. Yeah.
but real estate
Yeah.
industry, and it's just it's a great network. And probably 20 to 30% of my business on any given year really comes from realtor referrals around the country, and it's because I have been very purposely involved with organizations like Real Pride Network, just to be involved and that's where, I mean, you and I met years ago just with
That's
some
right.
work with another organization. So
That's right. That's right.
so it actually, it just makes sense from so many angles. We would like to open up the room a little bit to any questions, any ahas, anything that you might like us to kind of speed coach on.
That's right. Anything at all. I love the fact that you've got two coaches that take care of big businesses and that are responsible for helping people make a lot of money every year. So if you have any questions at all, now would be the time to type it into that box. Or if you heard anything that you think, oh my gosh, that one thing right there made it worth me sitting through this, and I'm going to go and execute that or make some adjustments. What do you think?
I agree. But what are your, like, what is something that you've heard today in this discussion that was a particular aha, or maybe something that you needed to hear today? What has stood out for you? You can either type or open your mic and use your voice.
And
Anyone?
Julie, while we're waiting, tell me what your favorite script is for calling your top 100.
Oh gosh. Well, actually, one thing came to mind is that when you were saying that script about how you guys will cold call around a neighborhood, that's the same script that you use with your sphere. Because
Right.
why not start there? So of all the contacts in your phone, I think your phone is a gold mine. Right now, I think there's $100,000 of commission sitting in everyone's phone, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You call everyone you know and say, hey, I just wanted to touch base. I'm sure you're seeing the articles in the news, but our real estate market is going bonkers right now. But it's an enormous opportunity for someone who either currently owns an investment property, or is even remotely considering selling. It's an amazing opportunity. Who do you know who's thinking along those lines?
Right.
So it's the same script as what you were saying earlier. It's
Mhm.
just have that conversation with your people, your
Yeah.
neighbors, with your friends, with your sphere, with your past clients. So it's the same thing. And we should all be doing that. If you have not had that conversation with your top 100 over the last 60 days, then I don't think you're okay. I'm gonna call BS. I don't think you're doing your job.
Yeah. How about that?
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's the tough love coach in me coming out. It's like,
Yeah.
look, we're in the business of having conversations with people about real estate, and the market of the moment tells us that this is exactly the conversation we should be having with every single person we know right now. So you could just set a little goal for yourself that says, oh gosh, okay, so today's Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's 3 days. Let's add Saturday on there too. Unless it's 80 degrees and sunny, then maybe not. But each of those days, just be purposeful about having at least 5 of those conversations. It might take 10 calls to have 5 conversations, but with people that you already know and love and care for. Alyssa's asking a question in the chat. Sherry, you seeing that?
Yes.
Oh, top 100 former clients. I just call it your top 100 people.
Yeah.
So it would include former clients. It should include all your BFFs. It might include some neighbors. It probably includes some former coworkers. It's your top people.
Yes.
Yeah, it's your fans.
Yeah, your
Um,
radio fans. I call it my baby list.
your baby list.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like, treat them like a
so
baby.
and yeah, and Alyssa, this is a great question. What if your sphere of influence is mostly out of state? I love this question, and here's why. Um, So the first thing is, I know I live in Austin. Okay. So what if my family all lives in Dallas or Houston or San Antonio? They don't. I'm actually a Midwest girl, but this is a good example. If if all of my people live in another city in the state, well, guess what? Every single person in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Lubbock, every single one of those people knows someone in Austin and probably knows someone who is considering moving here. So that's number one. I also know brand new agents that got their first client. Let's say a brand new agent in Austin who got their first client because they called their college roommate in Seattle.
Right.
So if you're in an area with some in and out migration, if you're in a big city, you get on the phone even with your out of state folks, and it's like, hey, who do you know in my new city?
Yeah.
I'm building my business. Who can you introduce me to?
Yeah. I have another, that's amazing, Julie. And I have another piece of advice. If you are new to an area and you don't, you're just getting to know people, I bet you've already located your barber. I bet you've already located your nail technician. I bet you've already located the person that your hairdresser. You've possibly already located a masseuse. You probably already know where you're going to take your dry cleaning. So here's what I dare you to do. I double dog dare you to buy a fishbowl and to take that fishbowl into one of those locations that you've begun to frequent, and you say to them, listen, I believe in a reciprocal relationship. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a gift card or a gift certificate for your service. I am then going to put this fishbowl on your checkout counter, and we're going to ask people for the next couple of weeks to enter to win $50 towards a service in your place, or $45 or $100, depending upon what it is that you're giving away. And then I'll be back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks to collect these cards that are in this fishbowl. You and I are going to make a really big deal out of it. We're going to go live on Facebook. You're going to pull the card out. We're going to make a really big deal out of it. And then I get to walk away with all of the other contacts. So I'm going to call one person and say, congratulations, you were my winner. I can't wait to drop off your gift certificate. Can't wait to give this to you. But everyone else, I'm going to call and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for entering. We do this pretty regularly. Please make sure that you enter again. By the way, here's who I am. I'm new to the area. I'd love to be a resource. Who do you know that I should be working for today? I double dog dare you to give it a try. Find 4 or 5 places that you can put fish bowls in.
I love that. I love that. Here's another one. Go on to like Craigslist and look up lease ads for leases, homes for lease, that you can tell based on the ad that the ad is posted by the owner and not by a company. Posted by the owner. Call them up and say, hey, I saw your ad for lease. I'm just curious, have you considered selling? Because have you seen what prices are doing in that neighborhood? You might be shocked with how much equity you have in that property. And we're seeing investor owners all over town deciding to sell right now because the opportunity is, we've never seen it like this ever before. And what if you're making 5 of those calls every day? It's just part of your day and your week, is you're always looking for those opportunities. Or you call all your friends and you say, who do you know who owns an investment property? I want to talk to them.
That's right. Exactly right. Exactly right. Listen, there's, I know we're running low on time here, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with asking people who they know that you need to support. Who do you know that I should be talking to? It's nothing wrong with telling people we need inventory. Our industry is experiencing the greatest shortage of inventory that we have ever experienced in my time. So I would love it if you could connect me with someone who might want to have a conversation about liquidating their equity and taking advantage of this aggressive market. Who do you know? I'd love to have a conversation. You got to get really comfortable with your who do you know.
Yep. And having that conversation everywhere you go. You have that conversation at the barbecue, at the kids' softball game, at church, at the church picnic, at the gas station, at the grocery station. Because everybody, if you're wearing your name tag, if you're wearing your real estate name tag, people love to talk real estate because everybody lives somewhere. Okay. Everybody likes to talk real estate. So when they do, they'll be like, wow, how's the market? Right.
Yeah.
And you're going to have your response, and you're going to lead gen. You're going to say, hey, where do you live? How long have you been there? Are you considering selling? Who do you know who owns investment property? Da 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 da. If you're doing that all the time, if you are living and breathing that opportunity, you're going to generate opportunity, because it's who you're being.
Exactly.
You're generating decent conversation. You're generating decent conversations.
Yes, exactly. I sure hope this was a good use of your time out there today. And I hope you picked up a few things that could immediately begin to change the way that you look at your business, and could immediately begin to change the things that you do for yourself every day in order to expose yourself to your next best opportunity, right?
Agree. Absolutely agree. Okay, guys, so we hope to look for, so the live stream links will land in a workplace on the Pride Network. Next week's session, what's the topic next week? What did I say? Next week's session is our next gen achievers. So these are 20 something and 30 something agents who are really knocking it out of the park. I love what they have to offer. So that'll be great. So we really hope that you plug in, help us promote the sessions, help us spread the word. And yeah, we have gained actually since the beginning of June. So in 9 days, we have gained like 80 members in the Pride Network. So Pride Month, this people are paying attention. And don't you love that the EXP logo in workplaces it's rainbow. It's rainbow right now. I'm so proud of our company and our really cool stuff.
That's a whole nother conversation, Julie. I think we should have another session one day. If you guys think you'd like to see me and Julie do another session, you'll have to let us know. But I think we should do another session, because I've had so many people to say, Sherry, how do I navigate, for those of us that are a part of our community, how do I navigate the way that I love and who I am in my business, and how do I show up? How do I show up as myself out here? I want to be transparent. I want to be, I want to be myself. And so listen, I think that's a whole additional conversation for our Pride Network. I think it would be great.
I love it. And that's a huge, it's a phenomenal topic. So yes, and yes. I think Sherry and I will stick around for a few minutes if anybody wants to chat or has a question. But thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you around.
Thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate it. Thanks for everything. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks all.